Well, with the NATS behind us now, we can get on with more important things around here. We're going to be finishing up, and I hope today is the day. I haven't bothered shooting day-by-day videos, but today should be the last day. We're going to do some tile grouting on our renovation. And we've got mail, hey. But I do have a lot more mail here. I'm going to do some of this. I want to show some of the things that have happened in the 2 weeks that we've been over at the renovation. And the number one thing is John Pothier has cleaned up this photo and taken what happened. The silver was so shiny that it washed out in the sun, and he corrected that. And so we're ready to make our annual. And for anybody that's never been to the shop, I have these everywhere. And this keeps everywhere there's a top 5 photo. I don't have to paint the wall. They're everywhere. We've got 20 of them all together. And this year we're going to add this Spitfire one to our collection. And I always love starting off the day with some nice email like this. Is from Gerald Shamp of his garden. Gerald and Brenda have a nice little garden, and of course Karen, we've been eating corn basically a couple of weeks now. We've been eating those veggies every night. Now Gerald's making a Joe Wagner Chief. I think that's the one that has the polywog airfoil, but I'm not sure. And we see some progress report on, we're going to be getting more progress on this. Single cockpit, single open cockpit. Now I'm not so sure down on the floor. There's some hammers. It looks like hammers anyway. If Gerald's having a little problem with hammers and model planes. I don't know that they go hand in hand. I've been using hammers, and wait till you see this renovation. Oh my God. I've been using tools. My van looks like Mike Kajeski's van used to, but starting tomorrow we're going to get back flying. And I know Rich and John and Brian have missed me these last 2 weeks. Now that's in good taste. See, you should always crop that out of the photo. That's from Gerald Shamp. Anyway, look forward to seeing the progress on his Chief. Now this is from Rich Walbridge, and he's received a wing from Kent, so now he does have a real Joe Adamusco wing for his future project, and he's been considering this night version of the Spit. And he's worried that the black would fade into the tree line. You know what? It's such a cool plane, it won't fade in. And I think that'll stand out in a crowd. That actually is a pretty neat. I kind of like this myself. And he's got a couple of choices here. Obviously one of the things with Spitfires is you have this like unlimited amount of choices. Anyway, I'd go with the W. I would make this RW. Rich Walbridge Twins or something. I've done that, by the way, on every one of the Spits. In fact, on the Seafire it's FXT because I had just done a big repair, and that was Fix It. The I-beam one is, well, as we turn around, the I-beam one is GMA is George M. Aldrich. And so that's always something that you can customize. And Karen, the first one of the Spits is KYN, Karen. Cool little things you can do, and nobody really, we're not building scale models, that's for sure. But I thought for sure the overall thing at the NATS was the Spitfire was so well received, and seemed like every time I flew it there'd be a lot of people checking it out, so maybe or maybe not, it was kind of cool, and it was a lot of fun flying it, and that, in the end, that to me is what really matters. So it's been a long time, and believe me, I really miss being in the shop and working every day on the things I really do enjoy and communicating by email, but within the next day, I'm going to be done at this renovation, and I'm going to take a few minutes of video to show you what I've accomplished in the last 2 weeks. I also, and one of the biggest things is, you see how this nose is? Now, this was an old thing. It was kind of a big gym thing, in fact. Building the planes without a cowling, and we called it the no-cowl nose. And I'm not so sure we can do that with a tuned pipe plane conveniently, or if we can do it at all, but I'm starting to come up with what I think is going to be an idea for a big cowl scoop. I was looking at the Mustang, and the Mustang has this like a reverse angle, In fact, I was reading in a chiropractor's office about the new Mustangs, and I was thinking I could probably incorporate some of it in to make the bottom wide, and this would have a nice lip around here. But some of the little things that I just been daydreaming about while we're trying, I'm looking forward to seeing John Cafaro's vision for this project. In fact, John Cafaro said the Chickie project is going to be Enzo meets Lambo. I hope it isn't in a head-on collision though. And so Mr. Spitfire did his job that we pay him so highly for. Gave us a great season at Brodeck, a great season at the NATS. And basically, he is our backup quarterback for next year. And here's what I really missed. I miss my birds. Look at these fledgies. Boy, this is like our third batch of fledgies here. A batch. They're like they're pancakes or something. Hey guys, they're going to be starting a porch soon, so you guys are, well, probably be disturbed by all the construction work. We just ended one project, and probably within a week or so we'll be starting our porch. As everybody that follows these videos knows, work here on the Ponderosa never ends. I just wanted to show this. This is what I've been going through for the last 2 weeks. Where there should be Spitfires, there's Delta faucets and shop vacs and knee pads and look, this was one of my better shirts when we started the job. I don't know if we're going to be able to use that over again. But anyway, hopefully, and if God is smiling upon us, this will be the last day. And the problem is we've missed about 2 weeks of stun heaven. But if this property sells within the next year, I can officially retire. And the fish have really missed me. Karen's been feeding them while I've been over at the renovation. And it's pretty obvious they're hungry. See that they know. Well, I give them a lot more food than Karen does. I think she puts them on this health food diet or something. Anyway, boy oh boy, what a summer this has been. Now the reason I've been going over to the house early, 5 o'clock in the morning, and staying late is because basically there's no air conditioning. And working in a house with no air conditioning, doing this kind of work is really miserable. It's not like building a plane. And I always like to look back years later at how some of these projects turned out. The first house that we sold, I pulled off the wallpaper and there was Al Raby's picture from, God knows, from the 60s. There's been a lot of memories in this old house. I had lived in it, but a big part of my life I lived in it. But it's not like this house. This is my home. Now, we really haven't been doing any landscaping in front of the house, and for a simple reason. Within the next couple of weeks, everything's coming off the front of this house. The old porch, the old roof, the old stoop, everything. All the siding's coming off. And we'll be starting our big major porch renovation very soon. Just in time to be starting to plan out this Chickie project. And of course the biggest thing of all is when I can turn my van back into an airplane carrier instead of a construction work vehicle. Yeah, the more I think about it, it's been almost 40 years that I've owned this piece of property, worked on it, lived in it. I lived in it actually at 2 different points in my life. My family lived in it, my sister lived in it. My father worked on it when he was alive, and before that my grandfather worked on it. But now it's the end of the line. And for me it's the end of this home ownership thing. The end is going to be the beginning of my retirement. Now here's one of the things I come by this morning. This is the color we want our Chickie plane to be, and Bob Brookins is researching out that paint for us. He's going to try to get us some real exotic paint. Now I purposely didn't spend any time recording all the work that was done in this house because that was something I really do want to forget. That really was a miserable 2 weeks, but today is the last day. And check this out. Now could you ever plan this? They're selling a Ducati here It's not the one I would want, but that is, and it's yellow too. It's like torture. And when we go by the Chevy dealer, there's only one Corvette left. So that means everybody in Rutherford, everybody on the planet except Wendy has one of them. But I'll have a Porsche soon. I don't know. We'll see. We really are excited about having our Porsche. But the other point is we love living in Rutherford, and I love the life that Karen has made for us here in this town. We've bonded with this town. I'm really not attached to these older houses. I thought I would be, but I'm not, and I don't know why. And I'll be very happy the day it's sold. I will be extremely happy because Rutherford is my home. And if you're a video subscriber that goes back a lot of years, you remember when we put the sewer line in the middle of the winter, and when John and I, after the big flood, this house is, is located in a flood zone. And many times we've had to do these rehabs. This is how I learned to do this stuff, because you had to. The house was constantly going underwater. And it's been quite an adventure. It's coming to an end. And I'd really just like to share a minute of it with my friends who have been on board and been with me. It's almost 40 years that I've been an owner of this house. Now, this is our local Chevy dealer, and you can see there used to be 3 Corvettes. The only one left is the black 06, Z06. And every time Sharon and I go shopping or we go somewhere, and by the way, you might even enjoy seeing this right in front of us. If you look all the way down the road, that's the new Giant Stadium under construction. That's how close we live to Giant Stadium. Just a mile or two on as the crow flies. That's the new Giant Stadium being built right there. For our world champion Giants, who Bill Rutherford proudly wore that hat for the whole Nats, congratulations, Bill, for being a Giant fan. I may have to wear a Dallas hat next year, I don't know. Now, this birdhouse has been up in this pear tree since I was a kid. It's hard to believe. When I was a kid, this was just a little baby pear tree. You can see how old and dilapidated this used to be, where I used to paint motorcycles in that shed. Had my little side job painting motorcycles. Look at the shed now, it's getting ready to fall over. Used to be able to ride my dirt bike in the back here. Look at the birds going by. Used to have a thousand cookouts on this patio over the years. When I was a kid, this was one of my rooms to just hang out in. It became a laundry room. And this was our air conditioning for the whole house. That's 1970s air conditioning. This is the last part of the renovation. Today, the last part is to finish up in the tub here. I got to do some grouting around the new faucet. All this had to be, all plumbing. The plumbing that all leads to this was all rotted away and leaking. You might remember John and I replaced the floor in the 2 rooms. This was a major thing. These cabinets had to be all the finish taken off, and I put on a Rust-Oleum finish just to clean it up so it would be saleable. Boy, what memories here. What memories. Well, if you only knew. And then we used to have a coal furnace in this house. And this used to be the warmest of the rooms, because you see where the radiator is? And on a cold day, fire up that coal furnace. And this was the first radiator to get hot. It would be, ooh, how nice and warm. But actually, it's really a nice old house. It was really let go the last 4 or 5 years. We had a Spanish couple here. Then they left and their son stayed here, and he just became a pig. And he basically ruined the place. And we had to do some landscaping. But boy, you know, in the end, after all these years, this is what it boils down to. And one of the things I always say is I'm never sure about, like when people are born wealthy or they're born into comfortable situations and they never have to do any of this nasty stuff, this dirty work. And by the way, one of the things I found was, see this floor? I had painted right over the linoleum squares. This is the same floor I did in Karen's laundry room. It's that
You can buy it in Lowe's. It's about 60 bucks a gallon. It's an epoxy, and then you drop these little flakes into it. Boy, it covers like magic. It covers right over concrete. It covers over anything. It's absolutely amazing stuff. And what it does in here in the bathroom, I had to put this whole floor in. This is all brand new plywood. One coat of that, that's an amazing, like a rehab anyway. But anyway, it's all memories. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grout this up. And I got to do a little cleanup outside the garbage, and I'll be leaving here. And if all goes as planned, and within a year, I'm being optimistic. House has already been on the market for 6 months, but they told us they almost always sell a house within a year. We've been lowering the price. Pretty soon we're going to be paying people to take it. But anyway, a lot of memories for me, and I just thought I'd share about a minute or two with the people that enjoy model aviation, enjoy working on their own homes and making gardens. And for me, today is the end of the line. And it's been a long line, but we're at the end of it right now. I actually may never get to be in this house again. When I left the other house and sold it, and I took the video with Al Raby's picture that probably you've seen, I was never in the house again. And I didn't think I'd be this emotional at this point in time, but boy, as I leave this neighborhood, I mean, this is the neighborhood I grew up in. This used to be a dirt road that ended at a farm, and they had a donkey on the farm. Look at it now, McMansions and big brick houses. A lot of memories. Anyway, we're gonna get back to the house, clean out the van, put the airplane stuff in, and see if we can get some flights tomorrow. We have this limited use of Palisade Park, but not on the weekends, so we're gonna have to see how it plays out. Boy, how this thing has grown up. Look at these houses. From a dirt road to, look at these places. This road wasn't even here. This was a bicycle path through the swamps. And this little town used to be a little sleepy town with dirt roads, and look at where it's grown to now. Boy, oh boy. Unbelievable. That is one final thing before I hopefully leave Little Ferry for maybe the last time. Because I really try to avoid going past the house that I've already sold, because it does jog back some memories, some good, some bad. Right at the end of this road is my uncle's house, number 81, where I had my first car. If you look, this red house right here, this used to be my Uncle Henry's house. The first time I ever drove a car was in that driveway. Look how out of keeping his house is with what's next door. Amazing. It's just amazing. But anyway, that driveway is still there. Henry, of course, has died in 1987. And that's the driveway I learned how to drive in. Wow. I didn't think it would be this emotional, but it is. A lot of it's sad, but a lot of it is I'm moving on, and my home with Karen is definitely Rutherford now, not Little Ferry. And now all that's left is the cleanup, the unloading, the sorting of garbage. Boy, if you only knew. Say goodbye to the faucets, say goodbye to the plumbing tools, the extension cords. Oh God, I can't wait to turn this back into a model airplane carrier like it should be. And I really shouldn't complain despite all these rehabs and floods and new sewer lines and everything. Real estate has been good to me, and it's allowed me to have the life that I have. At the end of every one of these jobs, I dump out the truck, I go through my stuff, throw about a third of it away, and then realize, my God, am I glad this is Every time I've done this, I think it's the last, the last time, but somehow it never is. And just like that, it's vacuumed clean and we're ready to reload. Oh, what an ordeal this has been. And just like the kids' game of Transformers, we're back. Actually, I'm going to call Rich and see what time they've been starting to fly. I know they only have the field till about 8:30 or 9 in the morning, but boy, it would be good to get a couple of flights. Just get some flights and get back into the swing of things. Now every day I spend a little bit of time working on my concept sketches. And I just wanted to just see if, well, somebody that's watching a video may think this is cool or not cool. Anyway, we were thinking about one of the things for the nose. And again, we'd like to try to make one of these big Jim no cowl noses. No special reason, just something that we haven't done in a while. But here's what I thought. See, from the side view, this has a little bit of an indent here. And this bows out. There's probably a 3/8 cheek cowl here that kind of disappears back here, slimmer and slimmer. Now, from the front view, this would look like, well, let's just make, and I was looking at these photos of the, of course you have to have the room for the Venturi. And we have to be able to slide the tank in through this cowl. But I was thinking if I made this kind of like the Mustang look, but John Cafaro's not going to like that. But anyway, I'm not making this accurate. Now the bottom would be a lot wider. It'd be 3/8, 3/4 of an inch wider. Now from the bottom, the fuselage would look like, and again, these are just concept ideas. We'd be looking from the bottom here. The scoop would be slightly canted back, of course. And usually people like Gerald Champ and Les Demet may come up with some ideas. I'm not sure. We got our spinner there. But anyway, from the bottom, this could bow out kind of like, and again, I don't know, and then have a reflex curve back. And from the bottom, of course, you would have the way of getting the engine in through this panel would have to have an outlet that would pretty much mirror the shape of the pipe plus a little bit from the bottom. Again, all of these are just ideas I'm throwing out, and I don't know how many we're going to keep, how many we're going to dump. But just thinking about that Cobra-like body, and I better have a better word for that before John Cafaro gets mad at me. We better start calling it the Corvette body or something. But I'm picturing how this would look from the bottom. And you would need no cowling at all. Up here would be the Venturi, our carbon fiber spinner. And this could really be a design feature. Now this would be totally flat. And so from the side you wouldn't see anything. You'd just see a flat, and possibly where the pipe exited out somewhere back here. But we'd also need to make a way we could get in, because this will be a take-apart plane, and get these pieces in or out. And of course there's got to be a joint for the take-apart feature. But this part could be permanently attached. This edge, this whole bottom piece here can be really 64th plywood, so it maintains a nice hard edge around the whole thing. And I'm just thinking from the front, having that scoop, and a scoop has to be big enough that we can get in our carbon fiber tank. So that's today's, and every day I work on a little concept thing. And I even was thinking about, one of the ideas Les had with the Testarossa, and we never did it, was to, a lot of the sports cars, they black out the whole bottom of the car, where the spoiler is in the front. Well, I think basically a Vet is like that too, but they black this whole area out. So maybe we'd think about, now with this all blacked out, again, I don't know until we totally get done with it, but if we decided we didn't like the way this looked open, we could make a cowling that just
sat in a little trough the size of this, and then just put the holes that we need. But anyway, what I'm trying to do is every day I'm trying to come up with at least some little ideas to put in my sketchbook. And some of the, let me just go back over this. What I usually do when I design a plane, I try to come up with all the raw numbers first. All of the things that I know I want to have. These become the bones of the design. Then I start looking at different, and Midgley had some ideas about different paint jobs and different things. It's starting to look like a Giesecke Nobler. And when I've gone back and forth with this, and I've tried to decide on what trim I wanted to use or how I wanted to do it. But anyway, usually while I'm sketching things out, Jim Silhavy's arrowheads. But I hadn't figured out, the thing I hadn't figured out yet is how I wanted to do this bottom. But the more I'm thinking about it, having that big cobra bottom on there, and I'm waiting for John Scafaro sketches to get here. I'm thinking that might look as cool as can be, and aerodynamically I don't know that it wouldn't be a plus or a minus, and actually I don't care, because these modern planes with all the power they have, even a smaller motor like the 51, they all overpower the plane. It's always a question of softening up the power. But anyway, that was today's little, I don't know, I guess little thing here as we try to get our heads on straight for a day of flying tomorrow. But already my head is already into this Chicky project, I guess more than I'm willing to admit. Now the other thing, and I wanted to we'll just assume here, and this part of it is of course the part that never is done until I'm actually done with the plane. I don't really finalize like the rudder shape or something. But anyway, let's assume something like that happens. We got the wing in here. Now I've been toying with the idea of having a scoop. And we'll see if John Scafaro likes this idea. The Lamborghinis have a scoop right about here that indents in. But then, if you look at it from the side view, it indents in this way, but then it also bows out. But in fact, one side is straight. It kind of looks like that, so that the look into the scoop, you're looking outward and inward. And if I carried that back here, that'd be a good tail support. I actually could make it. Keep in mind, all of this stuff is in the mind's eye at this point in time. And I'm not so sure that combined with this Cobra nose scoop, because again, this all has to evolve, and because we're making several of these, each person is going to customize it the way they want. But I'm trying to do that thing, that Lambo thing, where it's got a scoop somewhere. We've done the side scoops many times, Testarossa scoops, but this thing in front of the tail, if I look from the top view, let me just see if I can do this from the top view. I'm not sure I can do this. The normal body tapers in the back, the stab and elevator, and this would actually be pretty aerodynamic, because if I can incorporate this, let's see what this goes underneath. This scoop would actually make the back of the body a lot more rigid. And then we could have the indent of the scoop here, and maybe even have these slanted back just a little bit. Anyway, the Chicky plane, you know, a lot of times Karen, I'll be having supper or something, and she'll say, "I'm talking to you," and my mind is already thinking, how can I get that scoop in there, and how will that look, and you know, or something else. And Elliot has already come up with the idea. He wants to make his with an open cockpit, kind of a retro 30s plane. And I was already thinking, retro 30s, how about the Cord? How about something cool that nobody's done before? See, and Mike Palco put this in perspective for me. He said the one thing he never wants to have, and Dan Banjock never wants to have, is a cookie cutter airplane. And I never thought of them as cookie cutters, but yeah, and just getting back from this year's NATS, and I'm thinking, yeah, I look around and some of these planes, they really don't look different than what the people were flying 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And they paint a star on a wing or paint the leading edge, and that's the end of their innovation. But we're going to be giving a lot of thought to this. This is, and I'm going to start, actually, I just realized this. These magazines like Motor Trend and car magazines, anybody's got some pictures of cool scoops or cool looking cars, tear out the picture. Send me the picture. I'm going to start making a file. I've already got an envelope an inch thick. As this, see, usually this will be a 2 or 3 month thing as this evolves. And I'm thinking, yeah, but we know the bones of the plane, the part that make it work, never change. It's all these cosmetic things, and scoops are one of the things that really don't detract from the plane at all. They really do. They add a lot of personality, and they really don't destroy the aerodynamics at all. Now, while looking for some ideas, you can notice, and this was Les's basic design, how that flat bottom has that razor edge along the bottom. And I really think, well, see, we're trying to build on the Novanta, the Testarossa, and some of these that had, because we're basically going to be using Midgley's wing with a shorter span to make up for the fact that 51 has a little less power. But we want to use that same core of good aerodynamics that we have. The side scoops, which I think everybody in the world was just blown away by those. But I'm thinking, just having that scoop up here, maybe just an inch or so ahead. Again, I'm going to get some sketches, I'm sure. I'm sure John Cafaro's brain is frying too, but now the thing I like about this, Jose Modesto, the last time we had a long conversation, he said he'd really love to come down and spend the day flying this plane, because he's been thinking about building one, and it's pretty much the core of the Chicky plane. Of course, he'll put his own canopy and wheel pants and things on it, but it's that core, the wing aerodynamics, the tail size, the tail thickness, the flap, the nose moment, and the tail moment, that all combine to make kind of a, I guess the word idiot proof is, if you keep it under 70 ounces, I don't see how it could go wrong. And when we downsize it, all we do is shorten a wing, shorten a stab, leave the moments the same. And we're hoping we're going to keep the plane to 55 ounces. That's what Richard Oliver thinks is the ideal weight for a 51 package. And he's had several of them, so it should be exciting. The car is loaded up for tomorrow's session. I'm excited about getting back to the flying field. I've pretty much caught up on all my DVDs and all my little projects. The house is buttoned up, and they're actually going to have an open house this weekend. So, and I got to check with Rich Giacomo. I don't think we can use this field on a weekend. I think the little thing we agreed to was only going to be weekdays. If that's the case, there'll be a couple days to, I guess, go farming or work in a garden or work on my concept sketches. But either way, I'm excited about it. I'm working off a priority list, and one of the next things I want to do is figure out how I'm going to lay this muffler out. I'm going to use the Testarossa. This is the one Doran made up. He made me an extra baffle and some extra tubes, and we're going to try to lay that out and as one of the choices we want to have for our future 90 development. But again, I need to have a whole dedicated day, a rainy day or a day that, and we may get one later this week, but and also I want to start working on that spinner mold. I got to make the female mold from that. That I hope is all going to happen in the next week or so. Now I also made this is a short set of landing gear. The idea of the short set of gear was if I was going to use less than a 16-inch diameter prop, and I want to start working with my 4-bladed props as time permits. These are just temporary. I don't even have the good wheels on them. But what that's going to allow me to do is get the vertical CG just a little closer to where I want it. And it's a very significant thing, because that's one of the things that constantly wants to have the wing a little bit out of level. And if I could take the wheels off, it'd probably be a lot better. But the closer I can get them, I think that vertical CG is going to be better. And needless to say, it's only a half an hour to bend up a set of wires and make the little doors. And there's an article in Control Line World coming out in the next issue of how I made those. I took pictures as I was making them. But this is the coolest thing of all. Ray Dory took a whole bunch of video with his camera. I haven't even gone through this yet. But what he did, he sent me the original tapes. And this is Mike Palco and various. He's written what each one is. Now I'm going to go through these one by one in my spare time, and I'll try to include some of that on each video, because this is footage that's not on the NATS video, and Ray had his camera out there basically to hold NATS. So Chicky, I hope we're going to make you proud with this plane, the tribute. Anyway, that's going to be a 20 or a 30-hour job to go through all that, pick out the parts I want to add to the videos. There's just a whole lot of stuff to do here. I got my list that I work off, and I'm starting to pick away at it and get some of it done, little by little. But the main thing is we want to start with some of our concept things one by one, even though that's a couple of months away, and we're already trying to set the date for the build-a-thon. Notice how that perfectly flat bottom, I always thought that was pretty neat, and Les of course gets the full credit for this whole design. The little chin scoop. I don't know how much we're going to be able to steal off of this plane, but I'm sure we're going to use it from time to time. I was even thinking about molding up, and I have a mold for this whole nose. Mold this whole bottom up and just use this front section. Instead of using a whole pan, just use this front section. Anyway, we got a lot of choices. My head is spinning, and tomorrow's our first day back at the fly-in field. Look at what we get the joy as we're having our supper out here. We get the joy of seeing the direct TV blimp right overhead. That's pretty neat. I remember when Todd Lee used to fly the blimp, and I don't know if it was part of his normal job, but it seemed like it went over exactly over my house a lot more than it did when he wasn't flying it. And of course the blimp is based right down in Teterboro Airport. Man, he's flying behind the trees now. Boy, and it'll feel so good tomorrow morning. I already checked with Rich. They're going to start flying at 6:30. When you're away from flying like this for 2 weeks, it's just so good to get back. Water up the plants tonight while Karen's doing the dishes, and watch the blimp and dream about tomorrow. And see if we can come up with any ideas, any good concept ideas for the Chicky plane as the blimp fades behind the horizon. Chicky, we're going to make you proud, don't worry. Cafaro's going to step up to the plate here. Everybody's going to step up to the plate. Well, it looks like a beautiful morning to get back to the field and see the boys. I bet they miss me. I bet they do. Now it's really, well, thanks to Rich that we have the use of this field. We really have it from 6:30 in the morning till we have to be out of here by 9 o'clock. And they actually start coming in at about 8:30, so we really only have about 2 hours. But 2 hours here is worth about 10 hours at the circle burner field, that's for sure. And there's no snakes. And you really don't need to bury yourself in bug spray, and all you have to watch out is that you don't run over some of these people that are wandering and walking. And as we have coming up here, we have our we don't speak a word of English friends. Oh, John just got here. All right. Rich has already got some barrels out. Look at, I'm getting some respect after all these years. Oh, it feels good to be back. Because I've been going over to that house early in the morning to beat the heat, and it's murder. Oh, it's murder. There he is! Hey! You bum! Ah, good to just burn some fuel, baby. John has Buddy Weeder's plane. We're going to try to work on some trim on that. I think Buddy's donated that to John. He prefers the smaller planes. Brian's here, and we usually give him the good air in the morning because he has to go to work. Unlike the wealthy, the rich and famous here, Britney Spears, Britney Jackabone. Anyway, we're going to get some flights. And we basically have between us about 2 hours before they're going to boot us out. But it's still a whole lot better than fighting the snakes. You all set, John? All right, you're going to work? Yeah. All right, Ryan's leaving for work. Now we're gonna see if we can get some work done on Johnny's plane. Get a couple flights just to get back to flying. I don't want to fly, I don't want to get too cute here right away.
never get another reward in my life.
You're done.
I'm done.
You're done, baby. Don't leave home without it.
I felt good flying with all the rookies. Now I'm going to have to fly with the heavyweights.
You're gonna have to buy your Shenko work. What the hell is this? Buttons or something? You're gonna have to buy one of your Shenko watch. Good thing you got a lot of money too. Good thing you got the bucks, baby. What we need is more wealthy friends. Yeah, you could fix this up this winter. That'd be no big deal at all.
Gene told me to use acetone.
Pull the finish off? Yeah.
Use a gallon of acetone with a lot of paper
Yeah, that's
towels.
what business. That's what business is. 5 rolls of paper towels, 2 gallons of acetone, and you buy a lot of rubber gloves. You lost the thing on the bottom? I got a spare one. You spare one?
Well, I need this one to seal the tank.
I got it.
You have an extra one with you?
Because right now I got the one that I normally use for the top.
Here. Yeah, yeah. Make sure it fits. Sometimes they don't fit tight. Fits?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, if that comes off, you're gonna get a lean run.
Or something.
You want another one? Look, for right now, take a normal one. Yeah. This is, I know. There you go. Yeah, if it's too tight, you're going to pull a vent out of the fuselage too. Hey, are we allowed to fly on a weekend?
You're allowed to fly anytime,
Up to 9.
until the people come in.
All right, up to 9. But I'm saying, even 9 o'clock's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got grass to mow
And you
tomorrow.
want to know something? You're all flown out. Because after 4 or 5 flights, how much you
No, I'm fine. 4 flights, 5 is enough.
You know?
You know, the only time you want more flights is like when you have a new plane and you're trimming it or
Yeah.
testing props or something.
But
We're
otherwise,
basically at the end of that.
Willie, there's nothing wrong with
Oh, yeah, compared to those snakes, me and Sabatino ducking snakes up there. Black snakes. Sabatino was afraid to go get his plane with snakes for the Peabody says, don't worry, they're harmless, right? I said, go ahead over there, kick them, see what happens. No. You know, it's easy when somebody else is elected to do it. All right, man, I'm in. Strega. We got some trim issues with John's plane. Plus, he's got the wrong prop. We got to get him a prop with more pitch. And this Buddy's plane is really just too heavy. It's painted with car paint and way too much white, so John's really struggling to get it to fly.
going any further.
Now it looks like we're going to get one more flight. The cars are already coming in here. You'll see them going by. One more, Rich, huh? One more flight? it's time to go. It's time to go. One thing I've always liked about both of these planes that have the 90s, they really do stay pretty clean. In fact, you pick more stuff up from the parking lot usually. You got to watch you don't scratch it than you do with the oil, whatever oil. In fact, there's more oil by the vent than there is on the exhaust of the plane. But I'm already thinking about those scoops, those chicky scoops right in front of the stab. A big cowl scoop up here. Ooh. Anyway, good. We're back. We're back the way it counts. Back flying, back getting exercise. See, I count this as part of my exercise program every day. So for me, it serves a lot of purposes at once. And if you ever think, or you're wondering, does it pay to fix an old plane? Think of the service I'm getting out of this, and I may get many more years out of it. It definitely paid. Now these are parts that Doran had made up for me quite a while ago, and they were really neat. In fact, they have threads they thread together, and he made some special stinger material. Now what I wanted to do, I got a new header from Dub, the right rise header, and I wanted to make up another exhaust system just for this plane. Now one of the things Richard Oliver wanted to try, and we're going to be trying it I guess in the near future, he was going to make a crankshaft sleeve to sleeve down the hole in the crankshaft as more of a restriction, and then make a more restrictive muffler, basically, so we could run the engine just a little harder, a little differently, and maybe as a prelude to next year's team trials, where we would have some of this stuff done and used and tested. But right now, it's just something we wanted to do and take advantage of the time available right now. And I have 4 or 5 of these, what I call dump headers, for lack of a better word. And they work just about as reliably, easy to needle, friendly, a little bit on a loud side, which in some cases, like on a Spitfire, I like that growl. I like the fact that when I'm watching video, I can have my back to the TV and I know which plane is started up and that they don't sound, well, like cookie cutter planes. But anyway, I want to lay this out. I've got a couple ideas in my mind how I want to do this. We'll see when I get one done, and I'll get one off to Scott today if I can. And when we get it, as soon as we get it back, we want to take this plane to Lee. Dave Midgley hasn't never flown this plane. He would like to fly it along with Dave Eiskin. So if we have the new exhaust system, it'll be one thing we can test, try, spend some time up there with Bill Hummel, and hey, just have a good time doing it. And I wish I had more time earlier in the year to experiment with this, because Doran did quite a nice job on these. But like everything, life gets in the way. Real estate gets in the way. Now, the main thing is I wanted to get this angle right on the back of this tube, and it's going to be kind of a critical, well, I guess we're going to find out how critical it is. As soon as I go to put these 2 parts together, we'll know right away. A lot of times between a Dremel tool and a file, and you can just get this, it's this angle I want to get really as accurate as possible. This has to be the angle that sets this to come out of the fuselage. Now, since this hole is way smaller than we want it to be, this is only 450. Doran made these stingers up 500. We need to remove that material so that when this lays on there and Scott welds it, we've got a 500 opening. Okay, now that would mean the tailpiece would be ready to weld, and we just got to figure out the total length. Now that stinger either has to exit just before or just after the bulkhead, because the bulkhead is where these 2 parts come together, and I'd like to not have to cut that if I can. So I'm going to measure it out. Actually, I'll measure it out on the long side, let it exit behind the bulkhead, and if we have to, we can put a little thing like it holds a tune pipe to keep the vibration down if it tends to vibrate. Now I'll have to make a drawing up for Scott how we want to have this welded. Scott Dinger is by far the best welder that I've ever used or subcontracted or sent things out to or whatever. And plus he's a fun guy. Now, one of the things I got in the mail today from Bob Lampione is some pictures on a photo slide from the Brodak 2008 fly-in. I'm going to share these. I'm going to tack these into this video since we get some extra length out of these videos. These are some of the photos you may enjoy looking at and you may enjoy remembering from the 2008 Brodak fly-in. These are from our good friend Bob Lampione. Look at that picture with me and Tyser. Look at that. Butch Cassidy and a Tyser kid.
They have a saying, red skies in the morning, put sailors at warning. Well, we're hoping we're going to get a couple hours of flying in here, but you never know. Do the fish care what time it is? Nah, just feed us. Go fly and see if we care. Who cares? Go early. They're already probably flying already. I don't know about other people, but I really get a kick out of getting up early in the morning like this. Listen to the jets overhead. Wow. Nobody in the neighborhood's up. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Now, last night we finalized the final contract for our porch, so I'm not sure when, but it's going to happen very soon. And boy, is Karen excited about it. And special thanks to Bob Lampione. Hey, there's our dove. Special thanks to Bob Lampione for sharing some of his photos with us. We really do appreciate that. Gene Martin has some NATS photos he's supposed to be sending me. He has a great disc available for 10 bucks. If anybody would like to have a dedicated standalone copy, just contact Gene Martin. We'll probably get that later in a week. But it's time to feed the birds and start another wonderful day at Palisade Park. The smell of nitro in the morning. So I just love getting up early in the morning. Whether it's to build or fly. I guess the early bird gets the worm or something like that. We got a new little visitor this morning. Brian brought his dog. The poor dog is not impressed. Not impressed by our flying technology here. It certainly looks like we're going to get some flying today. And Brian's dog is just over there looking at everything. Now we're going to try to work on Johnny's plane again, but that thing really has some serious overweight issues. Believe it or not, it's turned out to be a decent day.
So let's see, is this dog being trained to coach or be our mechanic?
She was watching Richard play and he hit the wing over here. She jumped back.
She says, man, can't you teach this guy how to fly a little better? What's her name?
Cassie.
Kathy? Like,
Cassie. Cassie.
oh, Cassie.
Cassie.
Hey! Hey! You gonna bite Jacobone? Bite Jacobone.
She likes people. She's afraid of everything. It'll take her a while to settle down. She's afraid of my 1-year-old grandson.
Yeah, that's how long you had her?
Oh, a few years now, but she's, you know, we didn't have her as a pup.
Yeah, yeah. And she's a rescue dog?
My friend's mother had her, and she couldn't handle her anymore. She was
Oh,
about
look,
to
she's
wing
going
over
after the
place,
plane.
so that's what happened.
She likes look at, she likes Jacobone's wing over. Or whatever he's doing. Go get him.
It don't bother her going around in circles, but like that.
She likes the maneuvers. That's funny. Look, we got a moron walking out into the circle here. Jogging boy. Yeah, they know. They know. Here we go. Jog right out there. You believe this? Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum.
There and all that, and they gotta walk through where you.
Do you know what that rubber track costs? Millions of dollars, and then they run on the street. They gotta come on a flying field. Button it up, John. You got some good air here. Decent air. Well, what started out as a really nice day, the air is starting to get shifty and moving and shifty and moving. But it's still better than doing that construction work. By a lot.
that much longer we're gonna get to fly, because the swimming kids or whatever they are. Not sure. The kids are already tooling through here 100 miles an hour. One more month till they shut that pool down, huh? Can't believe it. No, I'm still glad we get these 2 hours in the morning. Ooh. Rich is getting persnippety here. That air was moving when I was flying. It was shifty. Yeah, he's going through his own air too. Anyway, it's good in my case. It's good it's a short session because Karen's got a list a mile long of stuff we got to get ready for the big porch rebuild or build or whatever. We got to move some plants from in front of the house to the back of the house. Always a lot of fun. Always a load of laughs. Brian, when you were over the house, did you see Karen's garden? Yeah, he's going through his own air still. Karen's harvesting stuff out of there. She's like a farm girl. I want to get her some chickens and maybe a donkey or something so she's a real farmer. And the air is just moving enough that it suckers you in for that third loop. You get suckered in thinking you're not going to have to back up. I can't wait till Rich gets to a contest and does 3 outside squares. You remember when we were over in Leonia and the girls had that bike-a-thon thing? The Tour de Paris of Jersey. Tour de France or whatever the hell it is.
Fat bottom girl.
Fat bottom girls. And they were trying to teach that one dame how to ride. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
That was a boy. That girl was a spin.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
could ride a real bicycle.
You would think she'd be like a natural.
She could pedal real good. She could keep her balance.
Yeah. That was a funny day though. One day Joe Adamusco and I were down in Middlesex. We were going to test fly his new plane. And they had a bike sale where the circle was. And the guy said, "Oh, you can't fly here today. We're having a bike sale." And Joe said, "You want to bet?" Just put his plane out and start flying over the bicycles. Hey, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, no, oh,
He made it to the Philly Flyers contest. Very, not a good turnout there with the weather.
no. You had bad weather?
We didn't go. We came
Oh.
back here.
I couldn't go because of the rental property.
Thunderstorms, all that. So
Oh, forget it.
Not to go. but they still had it. I saw pictures on the internet.
Nah, I've had my share of thunderstorms. Rich Oliver thought it was the funniest thing in the world when I got electrocuted down there. I was hoping he'd see the merit in it. Yeah, but you got to get your priorities straight. Is it? Yeah, you got to straighten your wife out. Rich's wife has a free ticket to go to London the week of Lee. So, Rich was telling her before, got to get your priorities straight. Go to Lee, Mass. 2 weeks, Lee, Mass. Next week is Middlesex. Next weekend, Carlos's contest. Come on, rookie, or you wasting all my good air here. I could beat Howard Rush here if I had 10 more practice flights. Maybe 20 more. Oh, here we go, here we go. Brian is afraid to get whacked. I don't blame him either. You can see the cars are already coming in here, and boy, when they come in, they're all young kids and they're all hot rods. We're always afraid somebody's going to ride right out here. Mr. Strega Arf. Boy, if there ever was somebody got their money's worth out of a $100 kit, it's Brian, boy. This was an ARC, not an ARF. He has got a lot of flights. And in yesterday's email, this weekend, Rich Walbridge told me there's an ARF contest somewhere in California he's going to. And he's going to fly his Strega ARF. And we'll see if he can be competitive, or I don't know. We'll find out. He sent us those pictures of the Night Fighter Spitfires. They look pretty cool. Some pictures the AMA sent me today that they shot. Jay shot at the, well, they were in that, I'm trying to think, they were in that the newsletter that they had at the NATS. And these are some extra ones he's donating to my shop cause. Oh, that's a nice one right there. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I'll tell you, like Will Hubin used to take these similar pictures, and they were just fabulous. That really is some nice photography work there. Now, I've sent Michael Ramsey at the AMA magazine several photos, but these are really nice. Rich Walbridge sent today a couple more Spitfire photos. Of course, he's very excited about doing the Night Fighter version, and he's already got the Adamusco wing, so he's really part of the Spitfire team, whether he likes it or not. And he's got this ARF contest coming up this weekend. We'll see if he can fly an ARF and win. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Gear up, baby. Oh, that's a beautiful picture. Well, and it took me a long time to. I was going to make mine blue, and when I thought Joe was going to be blue, and maybe the next Spitfire I make will be blue.
And I never rule out the possibility of building even another Spitfire, especially with the success I've had with this one this year, the uncanny success. And each one just keeps getting better and better. And I guess we're going to be, I'll hopefully be seeing Joe's soon. Or I don't know if he's going to finish it over the winter or what, but can't wait to get trimming it with him and get some stick time with it. I think he's really going to be impressed when he sees it. Sees it out at the end of the lines. Now Rich had some concern that I thought I'd pass this on, that if he painted the black, the Night Fighter version, that it would disappear into the background. Well, yeah, and but my concern is a camo job is difficult just before dark or early in the morning too, because you really only see the roundel and that little flag area on the tail, or if you make a yellow spinner. But certainly if you do a camo, you really want to have a bright colored spinner and something on the rudder, just like Rich Jacobone learned with his Stuka. Get some yellow up on a cowl and find a paint job that has some yellow on the rudder and you're fine. And actually it does look cool when it rotates. You just see the two yellow pieces rotate. It is kind of nice. Anyway, those are from Rich Walbridge, and we hope he's going to keep us in a loop along with Gerald Champ. And now that we've gotten we've actually gotten some progress on the Chickie plane. Dave is already gathering parts that we need. Elliot's gathering parts. And I'm already making concept sketches. It won't be long till we have a concept sketch to work from, maybe a week or two. But what we're trying to do is use all the good ideas we've gotten from several planes. And this will be a real challenge, but it's something I really look forward to this winter. And here's what I mean about the camo. See that color? If you don't have the yellow on the nose and that rudder, boy, that is difficult to fly up against trees on a background. The yellow, no problem at all. Now we got back from our little flying session just in time. I worked on a computer for 10 minutes and look at what happened. Boy, we got home right in the nick of time. There's some storm coming in. Now it's a real problem in the fact that, usually when we have this much rain, and thunder, one of the bad things is our flying field turns into the circle burner field will be underwater tomorrow with this much rain. And then all the guys come down our field, or maybe they just lose interest in flying. Oh, well, listen to that light. Wow. Oh, what a day. I had that thing this morning, red skies in the morning, put sail as that warning. How right I was. Wow. I will not have to water the farm tonight. All that time I save, I can, who knows what. What a day. Woo. To think that it was less than an hour ago and we were at the flying field flying. Wow, that's amazing. The amazing Northeast. I guess my poor birds are going to get a little wet out there today. Yes, into every life, a little rain must fall. Amazing. And thunder, too. Because it's a rainy day, I try to find a couple little things to do, and this is one of the ones that's really worthwhile. See all these microfibers? If you take these out, some of them, some of the stains do stay in there, of course, when they're really bad. These are ones that I've used 50 times already. But usually, if you're just waxing a plane or waxing a car or whatever, the microfibers are great. Now, the one thing never do, and this is, believe me, you'll be sorry if you do it, is mix this in with the regular laundry, because this has a way of picking up all the little lint and everything. So I do a separate load, get the rest of these, and since Ken Ticer introduced me to microfibers, that is one of the best tricks for waxing your car, waxing your plane, cleaning the floor in your shop, and wiping things off. I always have a handful of these laying around all the time, even over by the lathe. And this was really, I guess, not that funny, but I laugh about it now. The first time I didn't realize you had to wash microfibers separately, and because I'm doing laundry around here and I'm trying to be the husband of the year and everything, I throw a couple of microfibers in with the normal, sheets and everything.
and all the little, you can't imagine what a mess it was. All the little things stick to the microfibers. I pretty much had to throw them out. I was sitting here trying to figure, how am I going to get those out? But I keep the microfibers separate, and I have plenty of them. They're cheap enough. And even though some of them, they lose their color, see, in this case, they've got stains on them, as you can see these. But what happens is they never lose their ability to pick up that last layer of wax or that last layer of whatever. Now, I happen to notice that at the appearance judging this year at the NATS, a good amount of the people were using microfibers. So it's obviously something that's been, the word has been spread around. And if you look at any of these custom car shows on Speed Vision or whatever, it's they're available every place, all of these AutoZone type of places. Relatively inexpensive. The really good news is, for our purposes in modeling, they serve several good purposes, and the biggest of which, of course, is to wax and clean the model. And then when you're done, just throw them and right in laundry. And even on my motorcycle, I use these. This is why they get this color, because I've cleaned around the chain on the motorcycle and gunked the engine down and various other things, doing oil changes and stuff. But they have a great service life. One of the really good tips, and sometimes you run into somebody and you show them the thing with the microfibers and they say, I didn't know that. They act like it's a miracle. Well, it's a good tip, and believe me, you'll be happy you have these in stock. Now, I also like when I use carnauba wax. Any carnauba wax, I take a brand new one. I try to take one that doesn't have any aluminum on it, because a lot of these have that black stain is from aluminum. But if I'm going to do a final polish or a final waxing on a plane, then I'll take one that is relatively clean. And because they're so inexpensive and because they last so long, it's just one of the things that I think every modeler should have. A great tip, something you can use pretty much every day in a shop. Phil. Yeah, tonight I stayed up, well, worked a little bit later than I thought I should, because I wanted to see how this concept sketch was going to look. Just a little sneak peek. It's got to be retraced and redone several times, but I just wanted to see how it looked from my mind's eye, and I want to start working on how I want to lay out those scoops in the back, and if I'm going to be able to make this no cowling nose, which, well, I guess we're going to find out sooner or later. But tomorrow's supposed to be a fly-in day. Well, we hope, but if it isn't, we're going to work on our concept sketches. Well, we used up all that big storm that went through yesterday. Used up all that time. Got our first concept sketch ready to do some final detailing on. And I'm really looking forward to it. I just thought, well, I hope by the time we get up to Lee, which is 2 weeks away, I'll have a real concept sketch that I can give a copy of to Elliot and to Dave. Now, Brookins has told me that within a week we'd have our color chart and we could start looking at the colors, getting some samples. And of course, Rich and Dub are going to be making us up some 51s. So we got a lot of little projects, a lot of little irons in the fire as we get into the second half of this flying season. But today we just want to burn some fuel. Hey, just want to get some exercise. And we only have this 2-hour gap in the morning, but it seems like every day we're taking advantage of it, so I think we'll quit while we're ahead. Now, I wonder if there's a meaning here. All of the flowers out here, they're Rudbeckias, or Black-Eyed Susans, and they're all yellow. I wonder if that's telling me something. I wonder if there's a message here. By the way, they're going to start about a $2 million project rehabbing this antique train station. That's one of the things we're looking forward to dress up the town. Of course, we love living in the town of Rutherford, but what we really love is getting out with Jacobone and flying in the morning. Well, with the big rain we had yesterday
And that was a big storm. You can see what happened to our stuff. Our field is, and usually right out by the circle, that's where it's a pain in the neck when you have to back up. Anyway, but we will get some flights today. Water doesn't stop us from flying. Boy, we've got some great air density. We're in the mid-90s here. Should be making some horsepower this morning. It's always cool when you look in the reflection of the wet ground. The plane reflects right in the wet ground. I always like that. I didn't bring my regular camera. This would have been a good day to do some photo shoots. Nice having it a little cool for a change in the morning.
Oh yeah.
It's getting a little like Texas.
Can you imagine flying down there all the time?
Rich is flying early in the morning and late at night, but never during the day. So he gets the building season is from 9 in the morning to 7 at night or something. Yeah, it's got to be brutal this time of year.
Well, Frank told me. They usually fly till about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but you can get out early when you got a flying field in your backyard.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, crap, you get up and I'll tell you one thing, and go take a nap.
it's
in the
not
evening.
all what it's cranked out to be.
Not for me.
You know, flying alone
Nah.
is like skiing alone.
Yeah, you really want to do that?
It's not the same.
Yeah.
When you fly off a stooge, which I've done,
Yeah, how interesting is that for
It's
a
not
while? Unless you're testing stuff. Only if you're
it's not
testing
really
stuff.
that much fun.
You know, it isn't, and Arnie made this point with the railroad. If you don't have friends coming over to run trains, if you're just running your trains by yourself, after a while,
No fun.
yeah, it's excellent.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He just got back from Vegas. They were out in Vegas. You know, his wife likes to go to casinos and stuff.
He doesn't come around. I haven't seen him since last year. And what about Joe and the Moose Car? I meant to ask you.
He was at the Philly Fountains. He went to the Philly Fountains.
Yeah, for him to go to the Philly Fountains is around the corner.
Yeah.
Is he coming to Middlesex? Middlesex.
I think so, yeah.
Is it
Next
Sunday?
weekend.
Yeah, this Sunday coming up. A week from today. Carlos. He doesn't come around anymore either. I don't know.
Oh, he's got problems. Oh, with his job and everything. Man. But don't worry, it'll all be better when Obama takes over.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't worry. You won't have to worry about spending all that money in your bank account. He'll take it all.
Well, he'll take it all.
Yep. Every penny. But he's only going to tax the people that make more than $10,000 a year.
All the wealthy.
So you and I are safe.
All the wealthy.
Yeah, the wealthy. Yep. All right, kiddo. What nice air. It looks nice. In fact, it looks dead. I don't think you're going to have any air. Oh, not a leaf moving over on the trees. Yeah. You got your Zippolini there?
Strong. That's right.
You hate always being right. What's up, Zippolini? Charge your battery this morning? Yep. Take my battery out of the box.
I'll show some pictures.
Zippolini. If in doubt, to give it to Zippolini. Awful lot of people in the park this morning too. I wonder what's going on.
No, they're always good.
They're walking around, yeah.
They're always good. But they know what we're doing, so they stay
Well,
away.
with the barrels up, it's good. I think that works out well. That's
Give me some zippolini. Give me some zippolini. There you go. You got it in there. You're cowling loose, or is that always like?
It's a crack.
Okay.
No, I
gotta
just want
fix
to
it.
check it in case I missed the
This,
boat.
I got to do these FAA inspections on you.
This winter, I'm gonna work on this.
Rebuild the warbird. Everybody here has a wounded warbird. There's no such thing as a new plane this week. Wounded warbirds. Come on, baby. Yeah, come on. Yeah, she was your friend yesterday. One flipper. Now you get whacked. Take my battery. It's got to be the battery. Pick one right out of the top of the box. What do you got? Another one? Oh yeah. Hey, I'm a highfalutin, huh? Highfalutin.
I'm an expert flyer now. You know?
Now that you're an expert, you have two batteries. Except both of them are dead. Oh, here we go. All right. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling good about this, Richard. It's my lucky day here. What's going on? You want to flip it over? Those are both charged. Hey, my battery works on the car. You gotta have a battery with a charger. It takes my head off. Now there's a valuable lesson there. Rich had two batteries, they were both dead. Didn't get one bump. Put my battery on, bingo. Now does that mean I'm smart? No, it just means I have, actually I carry 3 batteries because I've done that myself. I have one battery go dead, then I don't charge the other one. And when you fly a lot, they go dead quick. But I do have that thing Richard Oliver suggested, that charger I keep in a truck. Charges a battery in about 10 minutes, so even if I run them all down, I can stick one on, and at the end of a flight, maybe a flight and a half, it's ready to go. And boy, that's a good lesson. That's a valuable lesson. And I know people, especially people that fly with a stooge up at the club field, I won't mention any names, because they look a lot like me, that in the course of burning a gallon of fuel and maybe the motor doesn't start one time, it's hot or cold or something, you can drain a battery that's already half low, and then, hey, it can bite you, as we've just seen in the amazing world of windy videos. Anyway, looks like we got a real nice day here. The storm is gone. Blue skies for everyone. And it's a little cooler this morning than it was the last couple of days. It's actually pleasant being out here, which is unusual. And it's good that it's a short day because Karen has a list of stuff she wants me to do today, including we got an antique bread box she wants me to paint silver of all things. Maybe I'll try using B25 silver. And we got to move a few of our shrubs from in front of the house because they're coming in with the bulldozer maybe next week. Rip off the front of the house. You just never can tell. Anytime you're dealing with construction work and they tell you it's Monday, it might be Friday. And it might be never. And you never do know. But the guy that's going to be doing a job for us is named Lee Costa. And he's done a lot of work for our neighbors. And we're hoping he's going to do a really beautiful job for us. This is one of Karen's dreams come true, is to have this Victorian style porch. Oh, it feels nice. Just starting to have a little breeze come up now. And when the air is dead in the morning, it's really not as nice as you think it is. Because see, what you got to do is you back up. If Rich has to back up, look where he's going. And this isn't really a puddle. It's like all the dirt from the field washes into it and it becomes like a mud puddle. So it's slippery as grease. You want to stay out of that puddle at all costs. Motors are making some power in this cool air today. I can see Rich is even going faster than he wants to. And I laugh about it, but we all are flying wounded warbirds now. And the plan is after Lee, because Lee is on grass. After Lee, I want to fly some more flights on a Spitfire. Probably finish out the season flying a Spitfire if all goes well. I have those shorter landing gear, which will be a little bit of a trim change. I want to work with my four-bladed props some more. And Richard Oliver is hopefully going to make that crankshaft sleeve for me to test if he gets time when he's down at Dubs doing engines. But we'll see what happens. We'll just play it by ear. Every day is... I don't like it to get to be too predictable either. I like to get up in the morning and not really know how the day is going to be. Not like a computer program where every line has a do and a don't. Just a little more exciting to keep every day different. And down here at this field, every day is different. All right, maybe we can get the camera to behave today.
Go all the way on the end. What air? Oh my God.
Our new mascot every day. Rich calls Brian up, wakes him up, sends him on a guilt trip. That was pretty rough, Brian. Then Brian drives halfway, he forgets his wallet, has to drive home to get his wallet. Oh man, that's rough.
It's not even easy as that. I got 2 other dogs, and they know this one goes.
Yeah.
And it's a freaking nightmare because
And
they're looking out the window.
You can't take all 3 of them? Oh, you're like the prima donna here, huh?
Not really.
You're like the Obama dog.
Talking about me across the world now. Once they see this, my poodle and my
You'll
2
be on
Bijans.
Stuka's stunt.
My 2 Bijans.
Well, as this day is warming up, it's just getting nicer and nicer out here, surprisingly. But again, unfortunately, we only have this 2-hour window, and already the pool people are coming in.
We're gonna have a sale on batteries today. We ran out of batteries. We've killed three batteries today.
Turned out to be the day of the dead battery. That's funny, we killed 3 batteries here. Unbelievable.
Now here's what really does save the day. We got the cigarette lighter charger, the kind that, well, Rich Oliver turned us on to that, and if we didn't have that, all 3 of us, well, 4 of us, I had a battery and they killed it in the morning starting Rich's motor. Another good tip, have one of these in your car, especially if you only have one. I have 3 batteries, but one was already dead. We'll get them all charged up today. What do you like? You like